Time now to link up with our man in Kisumu. We're talking about Willis, the word master, whose real name is actually Willis Ochieng. We forget that. How are you, Willis?
I'm doing good, Edith. How are you in Nairobi?
Nairobi is slightly cold, but we're hanging in there. Now, Willis, before we start, someone told me that your laughter is scripted because you always laugh the same way. See what I mean? Yeah.
I understand, but mine is just that.
Okay, fine. Let's start on that laughing note with the words of the street today, the words on the street. We said the first one to scoop or to excavate, as in to G-O-U-G-E, your eyes out. How do you pronounce this?
Well, Edith, many people find themselves mispronouncing this word as gorge, which is not the correct pronunciation. We pronounce this word with a diphthong, that is a dual vowel glide, ow. So we say gouge. To gouge, eyes out. Gouge, not gorge.
Okay, so I suppose gorge is G-O-R-G-E, the narrow valley between hills.
Yes, when we talk about a narrow valley with steep sides, there we talk about a gorge with a long vowel O. Gorge.
So gorge and gouge, not Goa, not George, gorge and gouge. All right, our second word for today is what military personnel would do on the field when they wear their fatigues. Are they camouflaged, or camouflaged?
Well, that word is camouflage. So the very tricky sound there is j at the terminal part of that word. That is the final syllable. J. You say camouflage, not camouflage, not camouflage. And we also have the word sabotage, which many people say sabotage, which is not the correct pronunciation. So camouflage.
Camouflage, okay. The next word is one which we've come across a lot of times, especially if you work in an office. It is an executive office, executive. How exactly are you meant to pronounce this word?
Edith, what I've had for so many years, which I feel is very funny sometimes, is executive. That I don't know where it comes from, but this word is simply pronounced as executive, and we also say executive. So the two pronunciations are acceptable, but executive, no. So executive or executive. Just like we talk about consecutive or consecutive, not consecutive.
Okay, got you. Our next word is coming to us from Baraka Omato, and he wants to know what is the past tense of to draw. I drew, I drew. What's the proper way to pronounce this word?
That name, Baraka Omato, reminds me, he was asking me something in the Twitter that is about lunch and ranch, when we have the fluids sound L and R. But now that he talks about past tense of draw, we say drew. There is no vowel glide when we are pronouncing that word. It's drew. Just like we talk about through, grew, flew, brew, not brew, flew, grew, threw. No.
Okay.
Drew.
Willis, we have just enough time for a surprise word this evening. What is it?
My surprise word, in first place, my headphone is misbehaving. Maybe it's the first surprise to me. So we have the word here, rapport. Many people talk about rapport, to strike a rapport, which is very wrong. We say to strike a rapport. Just like when we are talking about a depot, we should not say depot, beer depot, not beer depot or depot. So rapport is my surprise word for tonight, Edith.
All right, thank you very much, Willis. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. We'll see you again next week, and we'll see if you laugh the same way.
Well, I have that as my system, and I have to remind people, Edith, Good pronunciations, standard pronunciations are meant for people who are in careers of serious communication, like broadcasters or the broadcast journalists. We have also lecturers or teachers. We have marketers, legal practitioners, or diplomats. Not everybody can pronounce English words well or other languages.
Okay, so anyone who was not able to pronounce gouge or gorge should take comfort. Right, that's a good place to end Mind Your Language this evening. Willis, we'll see you next week. Until then, that was Mind Your Language.